Welcome to the dark side of BEASTwriter. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be breaking down the comments that were made by Derek Carr in regards to calling out some of the players indirectly. I think it goes without question that that's what was said. Well, here we are today. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. there are some other things I want to discuss as it pertains to the locker room dynamic. If you guys followed me from the 49ers, you guys know I have a strong pulse of a locker room dynamic. Talk to a lot of players internally, externally. And so you kind of gather that information. And so that's why you guys follow me here in the DOB. Before we go again and get started on the on the drama, I guess you can say. Thank you, everyone, to each and every one of you for subscribing to the channel. Be sure to hit the like button here on YouTube and also subscribe to the channel if you have yet to do so. Please do so, because if you don't subscribe to YouTube, you won't be entered for our YouTube giveaways. And so every week we run YouTube giveaways, but you have to subscribe to the channel. The only way I know that you're subscribed to the channel is if you engage with us here, because it's not like Instagram, it's not like Twitter, right? You can look up who follows who. YouTube's a little bit different with the way they run things. So I definitely keep track by the engagement here. I scroll back to every single comment within the videos within the week, and also the super chats and stickers definitely help out. So again, thank you and mahalo to each and every one of you for going ahead and sending me those super chat and super stickers, and then just engaging with me. If you're unable to do so, just give it a thumbs up, and that really helps the channel out a lot and helps us grow. And that way it'll be a recommended video for other like-minded Raider Nation like yourself, to where, hey, if you like my content, odds are someone else will too. All right, so let me just put up the banner here so we can kind of stay on track here. All right, so we are running Dark Side of BEASTwriter YouTube giveaways. We're giving away this 2022 alumni jersey for the man cave or female cave, whatever the case may be, for the Raiderettes out there. And we are also running a dual threat giveaway, which is this Raider Nation rally towel that I purchased from the Raider Image Team store. And I'm doing this all for you. Everything that you see back here is what I'm going to be giving away. Obviously, this is brand new stuff. I'm not going to give you used stuff. That's weird. So that would be weird. Hey, yeah, you want me to give away? Like, you want my old jacket here? Actually, this jacket's pretty dope. You cannot find this jacket anywhere. In fact, they don't make it anymore. It's by Fastlane, I think. I was once a Raider fan growing up. Before, obviously, I'm coming from San Francisco, but I grew up a Niner fan as well. But to be honest with you, I was a Raider fan before I became a Niner fan later on. And then here I am back with the silver and black. See how that works. Everything comes full circle. But no, it's all the Super Bowl patches on there. Really, really cool. It's a starter like jacket. It's not starter, to be honest with you. It's called Fastlane. I don't know. I'll bring it down a little bit later so to show all you guys, if you guys missed the other live stream that I did with my guy Harry Ruiz from La Nacion Raiders. All right, so without further ado, there's a lot to discuss. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it. But before we do, let's go ahead and talk about some of the questions that I asked Coach Graham today in his pressers. Every Tuesday, we get the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, and there's only a handful of us today during the pressers for those two coordinators. It was me, Tashawn Reed from The Athletic. We had Hondo Carpenter from SI, and then we also had Vinny Bonsignore from Las Vegas Review Journal, and that was pretty much it. So we really had our time to really discuss with the coordinators what was on our minds. And so I really wanted to ask the question in regards to Kyle Peko. Here's a guy that was really, really active, right? If you guys follow me throughout training camp on Twitter, you guys would know I was tweeting out stuff like, this guy should be a starter. He's that good. And then he was hit on the practice squad, made that 16-player practice squad, and then they waived him. They released him. Well, it wasn't waived. He was released based on accrued season. So he was released, and then he was brought back onto the practice squad. And I asked him during that time frame, if you guys watch the videos here on YouTube where I kind of interviewed him, I said, hey, man, like, what have you been doing to stay in shape? He's like, hey, man, I've been playing pickleball. Now I know what pickleball is. And so he's like, I've been doing that. I've been lifting weights, been staying mentally prepared for anything that may come my way. And basically he said, he kind of had a feeling that somebody was going to call, right? And so he got that phone call, and he's like, hey, man, I'm back with the silver and black. And so here he is today. And then he worked his way up, being elevated to the active roster for the first time this year against the Indianapolis Colts, and he really shined. And so as I'm running my grades, as I always do from week to week, no matter what team it is, I cover all 32. And Kyle Pickle was a guy that really stood out. And so one thing that I really liked about Kyle Pickle's game dating back to training camp was he plays with sound fundamentals. Normally when you play the defensive tackle position, would be a 3 technique, a 4 technique, 1, 2-eye, 4-eye shade, whatever the case may be. No matter what technique you're playing, you got to be sound in your run fit integrity. And that's what I saw in Kyle Peko. There was no drop off there. And another thing that we saw during the preseason play was he can reset the line of scrimmage. Not a lot of guys can reset the line of scrimmage. They can stack and shed, but they get moved past their spot. And when you do that, you're giving up valuable yardage on initial contact when that ball carrier hits that hole. So you really want to clog up that running lanes. When you talk about NFL analysts saying, oh, he's doing a good job clogging up the running, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, let's peel back layers of the onion to really get to the core here, as I always like to say here in the DOB. And so he really clogs up the running lanes. He doesn't allow you to generate any type of push. He sets a strong anchor. And so these are things that I saw in this game. I was like, man, this guy should be starting. And so it was really, really a surprise for me that he wasn't active on game days from week 1. Now we're seeing why, right? And same thing that happened back when, if you want to go back to 2015, when I said Andrew Tiller, who was on the practice squad, right? I was like, man, this guy should be starting. He went from the practice squad to starting against the New York Giants on Monday Night Football. And I was the only beat writer that called it out, called it how I said. I was like, man, this guy's dominating. And then PFF gave him I think it was a top 5 grade to end the season. He went from practice squad to a start. I see the same dynamic with Kyle Peko in the sense that he's not going to be obviously like this top 5 PFF graded guy, but he is going to be a guy that you're going to need for the long term. I like Kyle Peko. I like his energy. I like his passion for the game. I like his ability to bull rush his way on the interior. I mean, look at every fan, every Raider Nation that I spoke with, would it be at the gym over here at EOS or elsewhere, they always say, hey, man, like, give us the skinny. What's going on the interior rush? Like, what's happened with the pass rush? Look, it goes back to what they have. In order to know what you have or don't have, you have to give these guys reps. So Kyle Peko, Neil Farrell, Matthew Butler, you need to get those guys reps. In the bleak season, I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to make the playoffs because they're probably not. But that's not me being a hater. That's just me being 100. Like, I just keep things on 100. Like, they ain't going to make the playoffs, bro. Now watch them make the playoffs. I hope they make the playoffs because when they do well, I do well, and everybody wins. But at the end of the day, at 2-7, can you honestly say they're going to make a playoff? I don't think so. But I hope I'm wrong. All right. Robert Davila says, did you hear what McDaniels said today? Now it's a rebuild mode. He doesn't, but he said he never uses the term rebuild. And I tweeted this out. And so he's like, this is the NFL. I never use the term rebuild. And so I tweeted that out there. And whether word you want to call it, rebuild, reload, re-up, rejuvenate, that doesn't really matter. Refresh, rebrand. Gosh, here we go. I mean, there's a ton of different words that you can use. Let's be honest. Like, they're going to have to rebuild this roster from the ground up because, again, you're trying to work with a personnel grouping that really in year 1 is going to be a transition period anyways. Anytime you transition from a 1-gap scheme to a 2-gap scheme or from a different offensive approach, let's say you're using more 12 personnel than you normally otherwise would use 11 personnel, or maybe you like to use more of a, triple tight end sets, dual tight end sets. And so you're taking out a key offensive player and then not giving there. So there's a kind of mix and match there on the personnel schematic standpoint. And so it's funny to me when people talk about schematics without understanding the dynamics of the game plan at hand. Like, that's another thing. I see the tweets. I'm just like, man, what are you talking about, bro? Like, I'm just like this, like, bro, like, what are you doing? Anyways, that's my rant. I think it's weird how people pretend that they know, but they really don't know. Half the people aren't even there. All right. So what's up, Rocker Corey? How you been, man? Rocker Corey, I have not seen you in here in a while, my guy. I've not seen you here in a while. All right, let's get down to the comments right here. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. He says, what is the real reason why this team is sucking so bad? I think they just don't have the horses. I don't, and I said this, I spoke with another other beat writers before. This is about 4 weeks ago, about a month ago. And I said, I just don't think they have, like, why do you think this team is doing so bad? And I say, I don't think they have the horses to keep up. And then they're like, oh, no, that's not true. I'm not going to name the beat writer that said that. But I was like, oh, I don't think they have the horses on the defense side of football. And that's not a knock saying that these guys aren't good. They definitely can be, potentially can be, and they're very smart. But at the end of the day, when you look around the landscape of, again, when you run the grades around the landscape of the entire NFL, don't just compare Raiders to Raiders players. I mean, don't just compare one-offs on your same team. You have to compare it to the rest of the league, and not just the AFC West. I'm talking about the NFC West. I'm talking about all divisions that play a role in formulating that analysis. So, like, oh no, that's not true. I'm like, okay, here we are. And so I think a lot of it has to do with, let's face it, can you name one Pro Bowl player on the defense side of football outside of Max Crosby? I'm not talking about household names. We can name household names all we want. Chandler Jones, Denzel Perryman. All right. The list goes on and on. I mean, if you really wanted to go and talk about household names, we can do that on any given roster. Jimmy Ward, right? We can talk about, well, Nick Bosa is a Pro Bowl, but I mean, just go down the line. Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, Fred Warner, who's also a Pro Bowler player. But you see where I'm going with this? Look how many Pro Bowl players I just mentioned on the San Francisco 49ers. That's 2. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. And now Talanoa Hufanga, who's playing at a really high level, might be a first-team All-Pro. Forget Pro Bowl. He's going to get an All-Pro vote. He came up with another big INT. He's been my top-graded strong safety this year, by the way. So I do have grades. Go figure. But no, I just don't think they have the horses. I don't think they have the horses. The offensive line that was the talk of the town in training camp. Let's not get it twisted. And everyone's like, oh man, we have Lester Cotton, who I like, by the way. We have Jermaine Illuminor. But you guys got to remember, like, Brandon Parker went down, Denzel Good retired. I mean, you're looking at an offensive line shakeup here, especially with the new scheme at hand. It's not easy transition because aside from all that mess, you have to deal with what? The team chemistry along the offensive line. I talked about it in earlier live streams. Look, it's not as easy as saying a plug and play right guard. Like, there's some continuity that has to be involved. What does this guy do well? What doesn't he do well? The running back needs to know, hey, look, this guy can't seal off the backside defender, so I know to slip this block one way and then go the other. So it's just really, really weird how, like, people expected high expectations. Now, I thought they were going to go 10-7. I did. So I have to keep that up there because I think they will. But no, thank you so much, Rocker for the super chat. I appreciate it, man, and it means a lot. It helps the channel thrive. And to be honest with you, that's why I'm on here today, because I got a good amount of super chats yesterday and stickers, and I was like, man, or just engagement with the likes and the comments, and I always check it the next day. So if it's going well, I'm gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna hop on another live stream because it's worth my time. So again, I understand that, if you can't donate a super chat or super sticker, it's all good. Just give it a thumbs up. And there's 49 of you guys watching right now, so might as well do that and give it a thumbs up. That way it'll be a recommended video, and it will help the exposure in the DOB family, because when you're here, you're family. So again, like I said, if you're just watching us right now, I think we had 23 to start off. Now we're up to 49. For those who missed it, subscribe to the YouTube channel here on YouTube at BEASTwriter, and you'll be entered for our DOB weekly giveaways, which include this Raider Nation Rally Tell, as well as this 2022 alumni towel as well. So cool stuff here in the DOB. And the only way to be entered is to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notifications and engage with me. Because again, like the other social media platforms, I don't know who subscribes to my channel. Anyone can say, yeah, I subscribe to your channel. Really? I don't know that. So the only way I know that is based on the engagement here that I see in the comment section. And also, if you send me a super chat, super sticker, obviously I will get that comment and it'll go up to the top of the priority list that I can kind of see on here. And it's highlighted in color coordination. So cool. All right. But no, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kevin Wayne says, content is fire. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Christopher Slaughter says, are you having second thoughts about the team dynamic and their like for McDonald's and his ability to lead men? No, absolutely not. By the way, Kevin, thank you so much. I know you've been shooting me some DMs in Twitter. Man, a lot of you guys follow me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. And it's funny, the same people you guys. Follow me on all those different social media platforms, which is awesome. And I'm encouraging more of that. So again, before I go ahead and answer your question, be sure in the description box here on YouTube. All right. So if you go to my YouTube channel at BEASTwriter, just search it in Google search, it'll pop up. And in the description box of every single video, it would be a live video or a static video or a player interview that I'm getting tomorrow or a coach interview that I'm getting tomorrow. All that will be in the description box below of every single video. So if you guys want to know, oh, is he on YouTube? Is he on Instagram? Is he on Facebook? Is he on Twitter? Yes. Where can I find it? Well, it's in the description box of every YouTube video that I make. So there you have it. Go ahead and follow me there. And again, make sure you do, because you don't want to miss a beat here in the DOB. All right. So getting back to Christopher Slaughter's question. And by the way, everyone's asking me what I'm drinking. I drink coffee. Like, I don't want to tell you how much coffee I drink. I drink a lot of coffee. It's probably bad for me, but I don't go to sleep till like 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m. This morning, I didn't go to sleep till 3:30 a.m. Then had to go to Coach Graham and Coach Lombardi's presser at 11. Had to get my fasted workout in and then hop over. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Really, really crazy. But no, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, The Nation Nightmare, for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Super stickers are so cool. I think they're awesome. YouTube does a really good job at making it's not a GIF, but it's a kind of GIF, not like a GIFT, but it's also a GIFT. But no, those GIFs are hilarious. The super stickers are nice. It says 100 right here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Really means a lot. The Nation Nightmare. So thank you so much for that. All right. So there's a question by Christian Slaughter here. Let me pull up here. Boom, 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 boom. Got the comments. All right. Got a lot of comments here. Are you having second thoughts about the team dynamic and their like for McDonald's and his ability to lead men? No. And I don't buy the Brandon Marshall smoke that he can't lead men. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? I've never once seen Brandon Marshall inside Raiders headquarters, by the way. So I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe he knows some people. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just saying it. But he went on Inside the NFL, which is my favorite show, by the way. And it's on today. It's a Tuesday on Paramount Plus. Go watch it. It's my favorite NFL show. And obviously, they do a good job at running business over there. But I have to disagree respectfully with Brandon Marshall, saying he's not a leader of men. I would like to see Brandon Marshall coach this team and see how well he does. Being a leader of men. Really? Get out of here. I'm joking. But kind of not. But kind of am. And by the way, he goes by Beast. But there's only one Beast. Let's not get it twisted. That's me. I would challenge him to a 225 bench press. We'll see who wins out. And I'm only a $148. Keep it real. I'm joking. He probably beat me. Actually, I don't know. I could put up 22. So keep it real. 100 says Beast. So many people talk fired JMD, but can't suggest who should be his replacement. People uneducated. Yeah, like, what is the real reason behind firing Coach McDaniels? Like, what I talked about it yesterday. Is the grass really greener on the other side? Like, you guys got to remember, not you personally, but like people who say that need to remember. And I'm not saying you can't have an opinion. I think it's great to have an opinion and have, a discussion about it. I don't like calling it debate, but a discussion about it. Healthy discussion, respectful discussion. But I don't think the grass is necessarily going to be greener on the other side. Like, what do you have to go? Oh, let's get Sean Payton. Really? Christopher Slash says, Sean Payton, keep it real. Then he brings in Lamar Jackson. There you go. This is what I'm hearing. And I'm not disagreeing with any of this because I think Sean Payton's a great coach, by the way. I think that Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback, but these players also have to want to come, and coaches have to want to come to Las Vegas. And secondly, it's already a non-issue because what I say back on October 25th, and even before that, here in the Q&A live streams that we've been doing in the Pick Six segments, an empire wasn't built in a day, right? Instant gratification versus long-term gains. Coach McDaniels is going to be here long-term, right? Said this 2 months ago. who echoed that same analysis. The owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, Mr. Davis, echoed the same exact thing I just said 2 months ago and kept saying from 2 months out on in. So it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue. So there's no point really talking about a non-issue, hypothetically, right? It's just all hypothetical. And so whether we like it or don't like it, that it is what it is. But I'm in favor of it. I like Coach McDaniels. I'm already on record saying it. So there you go. Keep it real. Keep it 100 says Graham interview. That's why he's the BEASTwriter. Thank you so much. And again, it goes back to formulating my analysis. When I go in to these pressers, I actually have a game plan of questions I want asked, right? And I think in order to formulate the question or the response that I need, because I don't want coach to give me a vanilla response. I don't want to be like, oh, like Kyle Pickle's good. He's progressing. He's maturing. I want to know what makes him good. I want to know what makes him active on Sundays. I want to know why you guys released him, then decided to bring him back and then elevate him to the active roster while not playing Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler. But see, if I was to say that, that'd be a long-winded question. So you kind of formulate it in a way in my head to where I can kind of get the answer I need from him, whatever that answer is. And so that way it makes sense to all of you. And then I can go back to the players tomorrow and be like, hey, look, this is what coach said. If you're not doing well in practice, you're not going to do well in the game, so you won't be active on game days. But Coach Graham talked about trust in your eyes. What does that mean, trust in your eyes? We talked about this with Tashawn Bauer back in training camp. Again, I think I somewhat have a photogenic memory because photographic memory. That'd be cool if I had a photogenic memory. Photographic memory, because I remember talking the same thing with Tashawn Bauer during training camp, and he talked about trusting his eyes. In fact, I remember asking the same exact question at the same podium that Coach Graham at when I talked to him about it today. And he talked about trusting his eyes. And so what does that entail? Well, trusting your eyes means having good run fit integrity. Trusting your eyes means playing with your hands behind your eyes, meaning what you see, you put your hands up, you leverage that way. Trusting your eyes means you know where the ball carrier is going to go. How do you know where the ball carrier is going? Because you have two eyes. Use them. Stack, shed, ID the ball carrier, make the play. If not, you want to box it or spill it based on your second level help behind you. If you have Denzel Perryman and he's going to want to box it back inside, then you freaking box it back inside. You freaking attack that outside shoulder. You throw him down. You flush that running back inside to your help where Denzel Perryman or whoever, well, it can't be Divine Diablo, but whoever, Luke Masterson, maybe Darian Butler can make the play at or near the line of scrimmage for limited yards after initial contact. That's what you talk about resetting the line of scrimmage here in the DOB. Let's keep it 100. So when people talk about, oh, he's a good run fit guy, what does that mean? What does a good run fit guy mean? Can you two gap? Can you one gap? Can you win your one-on-one battles like Coach Graham talked about in training camp? Look, coaches coach and players play. You want Coach Graham to win that one-on-one battle? He can't do it because he can't do two things at one time. I'm just trying to keep it 100. Just trying to keep it 100, guys. And so that's the comments are ridiculous. Ridiculously good. Robert Davila says, I hope this draft day goes all different than one quarterback. Look, let's go ahead and talk about let's go ahead and talk about the Derek Carr comments. I've been getting so much feedback on social media regarding Derek Carr and his comments. And by the way, there's 56 now. We went from 49 to 56 now people watching here at the 29-minute mark in 52 seconds. So be sure to hit the like button if you like the channel, if you like the content, because that will definitely help me and motivate me to keep pushing forward for all of you and keep doing these live streams on a day-to-day basis. So I won't know that engagement. I won't know if it's a good video or if I should even be doing these in the first place. If you guys don't give it a thumbs up or engage with me. So be sure to go ahead and do that. The more the merrier. Add your friends. Share this video right now on Facebook. That way other people will see it and Raider Nation will see it and they'll be like, who's this Dark Side of BEASTwriter? Because this is my first year here. You guys got to remember, this is not, I'm the newbie here in Las Vegas. And I love it. I love it. I love earning my stripes. I love working from the ground up, and I love earning and every inch I get. I always say, nothing is given, everything is earned. You earn everything. I don't want handouts. I want to earn it. So I'm earning it. And I wouldn't want it any other way. Guillermo Quintanilla says, that's a cool jacket on the wall, Beast. What do the patches say? Let me just go ahead and I'm going to fall down, though. Watch. Let me just show you. Hold on. Oh. See, I almost fell down there. All right, so the first one says original American. This one right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. All right, so it's original American Football League team, Raiders 1960 to 1984, the silver anniversary patch right there. Pretty clean, right? By the way, my parents got me this, and they didn't have much money growing up, but they got this for me. This is really expensive at the time. I remember because I went to where we got these actually was at I would think it was like a comic book / sports card shop, which really they don't exist anymore. I know there's one by Raiders headquarters across the street, but they really don't exist anymore. But these things were expensive, man. Even as a kid, I'm like, dang, that's a lot of money. All right, so here's the Super Bowl patch right here, Super Bowl 11 in Pasadena. All right, I don't know if you guys can see that, but this one is the New Orleans Super Bowl 15. So I don't know if you guys can see this one. And then this one right here is probably my favorite. It's the Tampa Super Bowl 18. So there you go. And so, and of course, and it's made by, I'm not kidding you. It's made, it's not Start Line. It's made by Chalk Line. Have you even heard of Chalk Line? I don't even, look it up. I want to know if this company even exists anymore. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. Hold on, let me just open this up and take it off. So I don't even know if this thing exists anymore. Chalk Line? I don't know. I don't know if Chalk Line exists anymore, but it's a pretty dope. I wish I could fit into it, but I can't. Too big. Robert Dilla says, we need two big dudes in the middle. Yeah, we do. They do. They do. All right, so let's go ahead. We got so many comments in here. That means we got a lot of people in here. I mean, relatively for me, right? Relatively for me. All right, so let's see who we got here. We got SVT Vasquez in here. Yes, SVT Vasquez. Thank you so much, and mahalo for tuning in. You always share my stuff on Instagram. And again, if you're following me on YouTube, you're going to want to follow me on Instagram like SVT Vasquez and Twitter, along with Facebook as well. And it's in the description box below here on YouTube, and all my social media is posted there for you. All right, so go ahead and follow me. And again, if you guys are watching this, there's now 60 of you guys watching this. We are running YouTube giveaways specifically for those who follow me here on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. So be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel at BEASTwriter, and you will be entered for our weekly giveaways. All right, so enough about that. No, Derek Carr made some comments. If you guys haven't heard, this is what he said. All right, he's apparently he's growing frustrated with Waller's absence, and this is what he says. He says, I love Coach McDaniels. I love all our coaches that had nothing but success, way more success than I ever had. I'm sorry for being emotional. I'm just pissed off by some of the things that a lot of us try to do just to practice what we put our bodies through just to sleep at night. For that to be the result of all that effort pisses me off. It pisses a lot of guys off. it's hard knowing what some guys are doing. Like I said, just to practice what they're putting in their body just to sleep at night, just so we can be there for each other. I wish everybody in that room felt the same way about this place. As a leader, that pisses me off if I'm being honest. Wow, shots fired, bro. You don't think that shots fired? And remember, you guys got to remember, you guys asked me about Darren Waller's health throughout the whole thing. And remember, I posted a YouTube video on Darren Waller at practice because I'm there. And I said he was looking sharp in practice. And then some people, oh, yeah, he's not sharp. He's not. You're not there. I'm posting the video. I can tell you. I'm NASM trained. I can tell you. The guy looks fine to me. Now, he might have a hamstring. I'm not saying he's faking it, right? I'm not going to go out. He probably does have that injury. But the extent of that injury, I think you can play through that. He looked fine to me enough to play. My opinion. Now, it's my opinion, but I put it out there. It's all on YouTube. Check the Beast receipt. Check the YouTube videos. It's all posted there for you. And here we are today. Another Beast receipt checks out. So that's why you guys follow me. Not just for my analysis in real time, but also my predictions into the future. Because again, how I like to format my analysis is I'm not afraid to put my stuff on the line, content on the line, opinions on the line. Because more times than not, they check out. And here's another one that checks out. All right. So with that being said, let's talk about Darren Waller. All right. This is where it gets. Now there's 66 of you guys watching. See, this is where it's going to get. I'm pretty sure people watching this right now. All right. Buy or sell on Darren Waller. Here's the thing with Darren Waller. They gave him a 3-year, $51 million contract. Sound familiar? Same contract that they gave to Chandler Jones. $17 million APY. All right. The difference is the guaranteed money tied to it. We can talk about that for a later podcast, but you guys get the. Secondly, all right, Darren Waller's been out since week 5 with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was in there for like a handful of plays and then he was out. All right. Furthermore, let's peel back layers of the onion to really get to the core. Let's look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. Either does the film if he's ever on the field. And I like Darren Waller as a person. I like him as a player. I think Beast receipt, I said they should resign him. So, hey, I was on board resigning Darren Waller and I knew it was going to happen because we had Drew Rosenhaus there. And you guys remember, if you guys follow me earlier from Drew Rosenhaus, or if you don't, I'm going to backtrack a little bit because, again, this is why you guys follow me in real time. I said, Drew Rosenhaus is here at Raiders headquarters. Contract's going to get done. Watch. Happened with Navarro Bowman when I covered the San Francisco 49ers when he was there watching practice. Watch. Drew Rosenhaus retweeted me. Watch. Boom. What happened? Got done. Here we are at the midway point, entering week 11. And what do we have to show for it with Darren Waller? I'm just going to keep it 100. He has 16 catches for 175 yards and 1 touchdown. If you're playing fantasy football, he's non-factor, baby. Furthermore, all right, he has $22 million in fully guaranteed money. All right. Now, the dynamics come from GM Dave Ziegler. What are you going to do? You just gave this guy a big money contract. He's obviously not buying into the program that Coach McDaniel's instilling because the captains are calling him out indirectly. I spoke with another beat writer today, all right? And so it's not surprising that this is all has transpired because if I'm being 100% honest, it's nothing new that, again, I talked about it earlier live streams. I just kind of distanced myself from putting it out there because I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it until I see it because I'm so new. So I'm not going to say anything. And I stayed quiet. This comes out. Now we can talk about it. But now we're going to peel back layers of the onion to get to the core. Because again, this season's basically over. This is a season to where now GM Dave Ziegler and Coach McDaniels can really formulate their roster for 2023 and kind of hit the reset button and get off the ground going in the right direction. Look, if you were to release Darren Waller pre-June 1, you know how much they'd be saving? $3.7 million. Not a lot of cap space, but it's a little bit. At least it's a cap savings, not dead cap money where you're just tied to dead money and you're taking a cap hit. I always talk about the DOB. All right, so they would be saving 3.7 if it was a pre-June 1 cut. If it was designated as a post-June 1 cut, as we often see, Adam Schefter, Ian Rapsheet, right? They always tweet out, oh, this guy's going to be player as a designated June 1 cut. Why? Because the savings are much greater. That savings jumps from $3.7 to $4.2 million in cap savings. All right. Now, let's say you're the Tampa Bay Bucks or the Green Bay Packers. You need a tight end. Oh, shoot. Let's throw in the Buffalo Bills. Let's say they kind of don't do well. And yes, they have Dawson Knox there. But let's say they want someone else. Let's say they want Darren Waller to pair with Stephon Diggs. Right? Well, they also need a running back too, but let's just say, right? Hypothetically. Darren Waller is going to be a hot commodity on draft day. Let's say you trade him before the draft or on draft day. You would save $11.9 million, GM Dave Ziegler. You know what you could do with $12 million? Get an offensive lineman like Jack Conklin from the Cleveland Browns. As I said in my earlier live streams, let's peel back layers. Yeah. Anyways, that can happen. That's my analysis on the whole Darren Waller, buy or sell on Darren Waller, telling it how I see it. But I don't know. You guys be the judge on that. You guys can be the judge on that, on buy or sell Darren Waller. I would say right now, if you're not, I'm not saying he is or isn't. I'm just saying if the team captains don't think he is and you're a team captain, obviously you're seeing something. And here's something that I want to point out now that it's all out there. When I was in that locker room after that Colts loss, I reserved my tweet. I held on to this tweet for a very long time because I wanted to sleep on it. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to put this out there because I don't want to put it out there. But now that all this has come out, it's already out. But the locker room dynamic inside there's a lot of finger pointing going around. And it's not within the coaching staff. They're not blaming the coaches. They're blaming the players within that locker room. So there's actually some players that aren't really buying into the program. You can just tell. And that's why I didn't really you can just sense when I tweeted out that, the locker room sense that it's kind of deflated, right? And so I'm not going to name the players. I saw a little interaction there where players were kind of finger pointing. Not going to name the players. I respect for the players. And so I was like, man, that's not a good look. I caught the tail end of it and I was like, man, that's not good. And so anytime you have that, well, I shouldn't say it's not good. I think it is good in the sense that you're holding people accountable. Coach McDaniels talks about being accountable. And that's what I did when I coached. I had team captains and I let the team captains kind of run that locker room. It's good hearing it from maybe a player perspective as opposed to a coach player perspective, because you get a different type of response sometimes based on how that player receives that message and who that message is coming from. So I do like the fact that players are calling out other players. Look, I talked about it yesterday. I called out players when I was a team captain. You're dogging these drills, get the hell out. I want you here in practice. Because we just got our butts whooped, which technically we probably didn't, but we probably lost. And anytime we lose, I hate losing, by the way. I hate losing more than I like winning. I hate to lose. I hate to lose at anything. You guys know this already. I'm very competitive that way. But finger pointing is not necessarily a bad thing because it holds people accountable to where everybody inside that locker room can see what's going on there and be like, you know what? I don't want to be the guy that's getting in trouble by the team captains for not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So I think finger pointing to the extent, now if you're just like, oh my God, like all the time, then yeah, that can kind of wear on somebody. But at the end of the day, everybody's professionals. And so when someone asked me the other day, is like, or yesterday on the live stream, is finger pointing a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a good thing. I think finger pointing is good because it holds people accountable. It's not calling someone out. Look, let me put it this way. If you can't take constructive criticism, you probably shouldn't be playing anyways. And I learned that at a very young age. Look, my dad was the hardest guy on me, right? When I did well, he was hard on me. When I was bad, he was even harder on me, right? There are times I would cry after games. And then there's times even after that, he's like, oh no, you have to go out. We have to go out to the field. You have to do this, that, right? You had a bad game. All right. Imagine having a bad game and then going out and then your dad telling you that game, but it was all constructive criticism. It made me a stronger player. It made me a good player, right? It made me a team captain. So again, I think constructive criticism is a good thing. Now, if you can't handle constructive criticism, now there's different leadership examples of how you want to attack not saying attack a player, but go at a player and say, hey, look, maybe pull him aside. Maybe he doesn't like that kind of reinforcement. So you kind of bring him aside. Hey, look, this is what you need to do, man. Like, I don't know what's going on, but we need to get it together. I don't know what your deal is, but we need to get together. Other players would be like, you can talk to him straight up and be like, hey, man, you've been sucking it up, man. You're not even trying on the field in practice. It's kind of pissing me off, bro. Like, get it together. Get your head in the playbook. Come on. You should know how to run the play. Why do we have to stop practice if you don't know how to run your route? We've been doing this for 4 months now. This is a training camp issue. Hey, man, you're missing your tackles on film. You're the single high safety. You missed 2 tackles in open space against the Colts. What's going on here? So I don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's bad. It's only bad if like Draymond Green or Jordan Poole go after. That's bad. That would be, I'm laughing, but I shouldn't be laughing. That was some serious, I'm laughing because it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And I spoke with somebody who works with the Warriors. I said, dude, what do you think of that? I said, dude, there's no coming back from that. He's like, dude, there's no coming back from that. I was like, what would you do? I was like, yeah, there's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that. But if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you guys can just Google that. Pretty crazy. But no, I think everything is fine as far as people pointing fingers it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just holding people accountable for their actions. Look, Coach McDaniels talked about this throughout training camp. If you want to really read between the lines, and I think I like to, like, I absorb information like a sponge, so I can kind of piece everything together. I think the players that are buying in are now holding the players who aren't buying in accountable. Now, winning solves everything. If their record was flipped and they're 7-2 and 2-7, we're not talking about this at all. Even with the players not buying in, because they're 7-2. When everyone wins, everyone's happy. But they're not winning. And so that's why when people are saying, oh, it's the coach's fault. Oh, it's the GM's fault. No, it's not. I kept on saying, and I'm still saying this. And now this comes out that it might be player. Yeah, no crap. Why? Because are they the one missing 20 plus missed tackles in open space or missing their run fit integrity all the time, run fit assignments? Are they the ones missing their blocking patterns and not scheming things up how they're supposed to see fit and opening holes for Josh Jacobs behind, at the line of scrimmage? Are they the ones missing their second level blocks? Are they the ones not being able to reach block and hit that second level once they combo block up front on the interior defensive line? I mean, come on, let's keep it 100. Are those wide receivers downfield blocking that could have maybe gained an extra 2 to 3 yards on the outside there? Come on, let's keep it 100. Are they the ones dropping passes? Come on. Coaches aren't the ones that are responsible for that. They're not teaching. Well, I'm not going to name players, but they're not teaching. I didn't say the players that run the film, but they're not going to tell these players, hey, look, like, what we want you to do is run this shallow crossing dig and then drop the pass when you're going across the middle, okay? Coaches coach, players play. I keep on saying it, and hopefully it's registering to some of you guys. Oh, now I need my coffee. There's 106 of you guys watching right now. So give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. And again, send me those super chat and stickers if you like what I have to say, because at the end of the day, I'm doing this for all of you guys. And again, I wouldn't be here without you guys in my corner. So at the very, very least, give this video a thumbs up. There's 109 of you guys watching that I can see on my end, probably a little bit more on Twitter and Facebook and so forth, because they don't count those numbers, but 110 now. But this live stream is hot. So share on all your social media platforms right now. If you're watching this on your phone, you can definitely hit the share button and post it up on Facebook and be like, hey man, BEASTwriter is speaking facts. All right, so let's get to some of your questions. There's a lot of questions out here. There's a lot of comments here. I'm flipping back and forth. Okay. Jesse Cardenas says, Dark Side, you're the realest content creator because you have insight into the locker room. Everybody else speculates. I hope you keep on doing this for the Raider Nation. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. And again, I wouldn't be here without you. So my job, again, luckily I'm self-employed to where I can kind of pick and choose my spots, right? And so I spoke to some people and I was like, some of the players after the game, and I didn't get those interviews on record, right? Because I kind of wanted to feel the vibe. And as soon as I walked in, I just knew it was a bad situation. Like I just knew something happened. Like maybe because I played or maybe because I coached, and you can kind of sense the body language. Well, that's a perfect word to use. Body language, right? And so aside from that, anytime you go into a losing locker room in general, there's always a bad juju, right? Those are some bad vibes. But this one was different. And so I kind of sensed that right as soon as I walked in. I don't know what told me that, but you can just sense that you could sense it. You could sense there was kind of like a divide there. Not saying divided locker room, but I'm just saying like you can kind of sense like some friction there. And so I was like, nah, man, I think this is a bad day to get interviews, bad time. So I was like, I'm just going to, just choose my spots here and just let these players kind of marinate and gather their thoughts. There had a lot going on before we even stepped in that locker room. And so I think out of respect for the players, I wanted to go that route. Now I could have got those interviews and had them voice their concerns and stuff and maybe made a little bit of money off of it, but I'm not here. Of course I'm here to make money, but I'm not here to like, how do I say this? I'm not here for clickbait, right? Like I'm not just here to just get a reaction out of somebody. That's just never how I just don't do things that way. Now, if you do that, if you choose to do that, that's good for you. That's just not the way I like to do things. And so I try to keep it 100 with everyone, including the players. Cause I was a player at one time. And some of you guys played and coached and whatnot. So you guys know the vibe, after a loss. Do you really want to get interviewed by like, hey man, you played really crappy today. You played really crappy today. Can you tell us what went wrong in that cover one? You were in man coverage and you just got beat deep. What happened there? Man, you think I get so mad. Someone I'll be like, bro, like you already know the answer. Like you. So anyways, I just try to, do things respectfully in a manner to where like I'm not like totally like that guy. Like, hey man, you really suck today. Now there's a way of asking a question, but even then, I would be so mad answering that question if I was a player because we just got beat by the Colts. Gosh. Raider says, Jayon, but thank you so much for the comment. Jayon Brown needs to trust his eyes because Jayon was attacking linemen in the running game rather than the ball carrier. Well, can't say I disagree there. I did. Raw Sports says, John Brown, I think he means Jayon Brown, but he says Jayon Brown is average. We need to have Perriman in there every game, but he keeps getting hindered by nagging injuries. It really is unfortunate for our defense. Denzel Perriman, one of my favorite players to cover. I like that guy. He's built, man. The guy is built for tough. Raw Sports says, I also like the fact that you know true terminology when explaining technique and breaking down all the plays. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I got to say, I learned a lot from throughout my time. I build up relationships, right? Really be with Hall of Fame players, Pro Bowl players, coaches, scouts, GMs. And so they help me because I formulated this algorithm with my grading system. And so, yes, for those who are new, I do have an algorithm, a grading system. I don't rely on PFF. That's why I do the legwork and watch 65, 70 hours of film a week. That's why I don't go to sleep till 3 a.m. And that's why I'm drinking coffee right now at 8:23 because I'm probably going to have 4 more of these. Not joking. But in all honesty, there's a lot of stuff that goes into one given play. And I think if you just truly go to the box score and just go based on that, I think that's a lazy way of analyzing stuff. Now, credit, some people don't have the time. I don't have a family. I don't have kids, so I have the time. You know what my family and kids are? You guys. You guys are my family and kids. I like doing this. This is my time. This is what I like to do. When I'm at the gym and I'm on the freaking Stairmaster, which I'll be posting later today, burning 1,000 calories in under an hour, I'm watching game film. Literally. And there's people, I got a funny story about this. So I have my headphones in, right? And at EOS right here off St. Rose Parkway, you can do your cardio watching movies. I'm serious. It's like an actual movie theater. This is an actual movie theater. There's no popcorn or anything. I wish there was. That'd be funny because I'd be eating popcorn while I'm doing treatment. That'd be funny. I actually would do that just to get some views on it. But no, there's this girl that was working out next to me on my right, and then a guy on my left. And so what happens is, you guys know what happens when your AirPods die, right? Obviously, it goes straight to the phone and starts like playing. Well, here I am with the movie playing, right? The movie's on right now too. So I didn't know what was really going on, but because I can't really hear anyways, because the movie's it's louder than the headphones. And so I'm watching the coaches film, and then I noticed like they're just staring at me. I'm like, what's going on? You know, I'm like really intent on watching through this little iPhone that I have, like what's going on in the play. And so you get that vibe that someone's watching you. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, okay, I feel like people are watching me right now. And I turn, and then I'm like, oh, like and I take out my headphones, and like, oh, well, the phone, because my AirPods died. And I didn't notice because I couldn't really hear the headphones anyways, because what they were saying, but it was on. And so they were looking at me because they were like, how can you like watch football and then also do cardio, burning 1,000 calories? She's like, you're on the highest level doing Stairmaster, multitasking, watching football. She's not even a football fan. She's like, is that lacrosse? I was like, no, it's not lacrosse. It's not lacrosse. And so I was like, no, it's football. And so she was like, oh, what do you do? And I told her, and she's like, oh, that's cool. And then you also work out, obviously. I'm like, yeah, I do that too. It was just hella funny because there's so many people just like, what is this guy doing? Like, and this guy's going ham. Mind you, I'm dripping sweat, right? I have my sweatshirt on. I'm wearing a sweatshirt like this. And so like, you really can't see anyone outside of you because I want to stay incognito. And so trying to sweat it out. And that's what happened. I thought that was hilarious. And maybe next time I should not even have my headphones in. I should just mute it. But I thought that was funny. But no, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Castro Raider says, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, I know this season has been underwhelming. I think I'm more excited for next year than for the rest of the year. If you were the GM between Will Anderson from Alabama, or I think you mean Jalen Carter, not DeAndre Carter. But I get what you're saying. You're saying Jalen Carter from Georgia. Who would you pick? I would pick Will Anderson. Roll Tide, roll. Give me Will Anderson any day of the week, and I'll tell you why. Although I like Jalen Carter, I've been grading him ever since his freshman season. I like Will Anderson. I think he's built a little bit different. He has the conversion of speed to power. He has the height, weight, speed that you look for from the edge rush position. Another thing that you want to look for, especially when you talk about comparing two defensive players, at least what I do and what I learned from, again, scouts, GMs, coaches, players, is you want to make sure a guy is not scheme dependent. And here's the reason why. If you're drafting that high in the top 5 or top 10, and I'm not saying this with Coach McDaniels, I'm just saying in general, odds are if you're not winning and you're holding consistently a top 10 pick, the turnover from the coaching staff is going to change. So that means the scheme's going to change. So if the scheme's going to change, that means you need to find a guy that's scheme diverse. Otherwise, he's going to be damaged goods. What I mean by that is take an example like Alex Leatherwood. New regime comes in. They tried him out at offensive tackle. They didn't want to try him at guard. He's gone. Well, if you had a guy that was scheme diverse that can play in a 3-4 or a 4-3, now you have something to work with. But if you're going after a guy like Cleve Farrell, who is a healthy scratch, and let's be honest, I said this when he was drafted. Go check the Twitter receipts, Beast receipts. I say he's a 4-3 defensive tackle, defensive end. Go figure. He's based in the 4-3 defense. And if you're trying to make a conversion to, like, let's say a 3-4 outside linebacker or playing in a 2-point stance from a 3-point stance, you're definitely talking about a different type of get off that you have to learn. So do you have that transition to where you can make that seamless transition? And so when you take that into account, I would rather have Will Anderson over Jalen Carter. Now, Jalen Carter is definitely scheme diverse as well. He can play in a 3-4 or a 4-3. You can put him at a 3-4 defensive end or even at nose tackle. So he can play the 3 technique. He can play the 0 technique. He can play 1 technique. He can also play the 4-eye technique if you want to line up on the offensive tackle heads up. But at the end of the day, I like Will Anderson a little bit more because of the consistency, and I think edge rushers from the skill set that he brings to the table is definitely top 5 talent in any given draft. If he was to come out last year, he'd be a number 1 defensive prospect in my grading system outside of Nakobe Dean. So I really like Will Anderson, but I also love Jalen Carter. That's a 1A, 1B type of a question. But thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it, my guy. And again, it really means a lot for hitting those. Thank you so much. I appreciate that super chat. D-Menace says, hit that like button. Yes. And there's 101 of you guys. So if you guys like me talking about silver and black football, hit the like button. Send me a super chat. Send me a super sticker. Engage with me. Comment with me. And let's get this thing going, because we are 1 hour and 1 minute and 7 seconds in, and we are loving every second of it. At least I am, as I drink my coffee. All right. Raw Sports says we have 100% to get a playmaker on defense at the first round of this draft. Yeah, defense needs help. I'm not going to sit here and say they don't. Raw Sports also says if Davis had any smarts at all, he would acknowledge his mistake and hire Harbaugh. Hell yeah, you could eat rest of McDaniel's content and hire Harbaugh. It would still be a win for the Raiders. You know what'd be funny about that too? I would be reunited with Jim Harbaugh because I covered Jim Harbaugh back with the San Francisco 49ers, and Jim Harbaugh knows me very, very well, and I know him very, very well throughout our time there. So that would be interesting. But ultimately, I don't think Coach McDaniels is going anywhere. And I like Coach McDaniels. And if it was up to me, I would rather keep Coach McDaniels there. I don't think you want to, as much as I like Jim Harbaugh, I think I like Coach McDaniels for this team a little bit more. I think Coach McDaniels is on the right track to success. And people who are saying, oh, fire Coach McDaniels and get Sean Payton or get XYZ player or coach or whether, it's like, nah, man, like that's just not going to happen. You just don't do that after 1 year's time. It's just, that's not a fair enough assessment for you to kind of go out and make a executive move like that, especially when you're transitioning into a new scheme, new cultural identity, who, by the way, you guys got to remember the buy-in process that we had talked about throughout training camp. It's a process. You know, the question is, do all these players trust that process? And in a bleak season, I would think it's kind of hard to trust the process. But at the end of the day, if you have faith in the coach, if you have faith in the team, if you have faith in the captains, if you have faith from GM Dave Ziegler in bringing in the right players to fit that scheme, which I do, I'm one to buy in. So if you're to ask me if I'm buying in, I am all in. I'm all in. I'm putting all my chips to the table. I'm all in. I don't care. Pre-flop, I don't care. I don't even care what my whole cards are. I'm playing this blind, baby. I'm all in. Let's do this. Now, I wouldn't play. I'll kind of check. No, I'm joking. I would try and check. Okay. I have King Deuce. Now, King Deuce would be a horrible hand to go all in on. Well, it depends what the flop is, but you don't know what the flop is. All right. Ross Sports says, if we were going to the 3-4 route, why the hell do we not hire Wink Martindale? Look what he is doing for the Giants. Now the Giants only have 2 freaking losses. Joke. Wink Martindale was good. He came from the Baltimore Ravens. We all know this. Or if you don't know that, now you know. But I think everything's better in hindsight than in real time. I like what Coach Graham does. I like how he schemes things up. Ultimately, you need to have the players. And I talked about this in real time as the game unfolded with one of my guys. And he played at a very high level. All right. Played for De La Salle. And so I was talking to him, and he's like, what do you think about this team? I said, look, this is what they're doing right here. Cover 2, blah, blah. And I'm not going to call it the player or the position, but I was like, oh, watch. This is going to happen. Boom, happen. And he's like, dang, how do you? I was like, dude, because they just don't have the horses. Like, it's not up to the coach. I mean, it's a simple cover shell, but they just don't know the rules of engagement on how to attack that cover shell and protecting the sticks based on down and distance, based on formations, based on film study, right? You got to pick up on different tendencies. And aside from that, you can kind of pick up on tells too, right? With the offensive line, if it's a run play or a pass play, or if there's some guy that maybe he does a little tick, he gives it off a little tick, and they're like, oh man, it's going to be a pass play right here. Okay, it's going to the right. But no, there's a lot of stuff, especially when you evaluate game film, that you can kind of pick up on. But ultimately, I just don't think that they have the horses. You look at around the landscape of the entire NFL. And again, how many Pro Bowl players are on this Raiders team? Period. Devontae Adams is one, obviously. Josh Jacobs would be another. But outside of that, those two players on the offense side of the football, who else? And on the flip side of that, how much all-pro talent or Pro Bowl talent do they have? Max Crosby. That's it. That's it. Right? So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. On to Six Soldiers. Beast, how do you feel about our defensive tackles? I like the defensive tackles. I like Neil Farrell. I like Matthew Butler. Talked to them extensively throughout training camp on into the season at the midway point. Obviously, you guys know I have a good rapport with Neil Farrell dating back to LSU because my good friend Andre Carter coached him at LSU and was his D-line coach there and called him a lighter Vince Wilfork. But getting back to it, I like Kyle Pickle as well. I think they have a strong rotation there. I like Bilal Nichols signing that 2-year, $11 million contract. I think that's one of the steals of this free agency free agency class. When you look at it, I think GM Dave Ziegler did a hell of a job getting that in the fold. If we're talking about defensive tackle specifically, I also like the trading off of Jonathan Hankins for a 6th-round pick, because you guys got to remember, GM Dave Ziegler did not have a 6th-round pick because he traded that off to the New England Patriots in the Jarrett Stidham deal. So he gained that 6th-round pick in return in order to get 8 draft picks for the 2023 season. All right. So you guys got to understand the dynamics of how everything works from a management standpoint. But also, again, when we pull back layers of the onion to get to the core, it's not as simple as saying, oh, the defensive tackle position is bad because they can't generate any interior pressure up front, which is a logical answer, by the way, because you do need to push it from the interior. Ultimately, they don't have a double-digit sack artist from the interior, or even a 5-6 sack season, consistency single sack season guy, right? Like, could Neil Farrell be that guy? Could Matthew Butler be that guy? We really don't know. So it's fair to say that we don't have that unless we give these guys reps. And Matthew Butler and Neil Farrell were both healthy scratches last week, which was really surprising to me, which is why I asked Coach McDaniels on why that was made. Noah says, I love that you ask questions about certain players' progress, scheme, and opponent scheme. You ask questions that aren't like those other mainstream media. Guys, keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Noah. I appreciate it, man. And again, it really means a lot hearing comments like these because, again, this is my first year. So you guys tell me what you guys like. And so luckily, the comments and the positive vibes here in the DOB has definitely helped out in my transition here, moving here from the Bay Area to Las Vegas. And again, I wouldn't be here without you guys in my corner. So thank you so much. And just hearing these kind words really means a lot. It really does. I can't say thank you enough for all that you guys do. You guys are awesome. You guys are really awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. I got to watch game film in a little bit. But if you have a question, let me know. Send me a super chat or super sticker, and I can highlight it. Otherwise, I'm going to hit off in a little bit. Thank you so much, the Raider Room. You've been so kind in sharing my stuff, as well as SVT Vasquez on Instagram. Thank you so much. And I'm on, you guys are probably wondering, if you're on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at BEASTwriter. So I'm at BEASTwriter. You guys can follow me there. Same Twitter handle, at BEASTwriter. You can follow me there. And you can also follow me, look for the verified blue badge, which is funny because I did subscribe to Twitter Blue, and that's not the reason why I'm verified. I'm verified before Twitter Blue even rolled out. But it's funny because on the desktop version, it says, obviously, it gives me the one that I'm a legacy verified. But then on the iOS version, you tap on it, it says it's because I have a blue, because I subscribed to Twitter Blue. And it's like, oh my gosh, really, dude? Like, I don't, that's not it. That's not me. So anyways, I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully they get that cleaned up. Anyways, which, by the way, I guess Elon Musk is getting away with the Twitter Blue verification badge deal. I don't know what's going on with that, but apparently the legacy blue check mark's going away or something like that. I don't know. Someone told me about that. I don't know how that's going to work. I have no idea what's going on over there. Someone's asked me, like, is that really you? Because I was getting fake accounts of me on Twitter, and then people asked me. I was like, nah, that's not me. And I was like, do I really have to explain myself? I guess I do. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I had a lot of fun. D Menace, thank you so much for modding, as well as everyone else that are one of my mods. You guys are awesome, and you guys didn't have to do it. So thank you so much. Hit that like button on the way out. Raider Nation definitely does me good and helps out the channel. And again, if you have yet to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please be sure to do so. So it will be entered for these Raider Nation giveaways that we always give out here in the DOB. Only if you subscribe here on YouTube, exclusively on the YouTube channel at BEASTwriter. So share, like, comment, do all of that good stuff here in the dark side of BEASTwriter as we keep things hot all day, every day. It means a lot. And like I said, I couldn't ask for anything else than anything more, I should say, than the love that I've been getting from all you guys. You guys have been nothing but awesome, and I love it. I can't wait till January 1 pops in, and obviously the 49er fans are ready for me. They've been like gearing up. I have a lot of friends who own the Niner Empire chapters, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna come down. We're gonna give you a hard time." I'm like, bring it, baby, bring it. So hopefully you guys have my back on this. Come on, I need the silver and black to have my back. But no, thank you so much, everyone. I had a lot of fun. And like I said, it's nothing but good vibes only here in the DOB. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good day. This is now Tuesday. I'll be hopping back on another live stream tomorrow as we keep things hot here in the DOB. Thank you much for tuning in. Have a good night. BEASTwriter out.